Hello Scriptcase enthusiasts and fellow developers. Jamie here, back with the super exciting tool to elevate your web development game. Maybe you can guess what it is. And today, we're diving into how you can seamlessly integrate Maileroo into your Scriptcase projects for an unbeatable email transaction system. So say goodbye to the hassles of SendGrid and the limitations of MailChimp and all those expensive fees once you get started. So with that in mind, why don't we get started? So Maileroo isn't just another email service provider. It's in fact your all-in-one solution for sending emails, notifications and alerts with ease, all directly from within your Scriptcase environment. Well, platform, portal, project, whatever you create, whether it's a new user alert, login attempts, user updates or group additions, Maileroo can handle it all, and I'm going to show you how in today's video. Maybe today's and the next video, we'll have to see how it goes. And to get you started, I have an amazing link for you to use and my special code to get yourself 3 months for free. So do check that out. The link's in the description as well and the code as well. Just enter it when you go there, and with that you will be not only helping me and the channel out, but you'll be helping your own platforms, I guarantee it. Okay, so Maileroo is awesome. Okay, so it's really cool. You have all the information here, the pricing, the tools and services, the API documentation, and we're going to go through some of that. In fact, I will just go ahead and open that already. You have a contact form there also, and you have all these prices here, and you can see you have a free plan there with up to 1,000 mails, and it doesn't cost you a thing. Now you have a basic, standard, a premium, depending on how many emails you're going to send, how many users you have on your platform. You know, maybe typically a basic for a small user platform would be more than enough. Okay, of course, if you are a large organization, an enterprise, then maybe you will want to go for one of the premium or pro or even the ultimate up here, and the enterprise is also there. So that really depends on how many transactional emails you send. And of course, if you check that with the others, you'll see that it is cheaper. And of course, it's going to be much easier to use. So I'm going to show you how, of course, and you do have at the bottom here some tools that are available. So you have an email verification API that we can use, and I will be integrating that as well because I've added it to the form so that it checks the emails. If it's a good email, if it's a bad email, if it's a valid email or not. Well, it will tell you. We have some other tools there as well, and of course it does also support SMTP if you really do need that. But in general, yeah, it's a pretty awesome platform. So let's have a quick look then at the platform that I've put together here. In fact, that's not that one, that was just a little sneaky peek there. Maybe I'll just come back there again. Look, this is actually the back end of my new club management platform, and as you can see, I have a lot of information in here already, and of course these are informations that will be available to my club members with everything in one place. And of course that is coming very soon, and with that there will also be a big change to the club membership. So I do need to make sure that you are all aware of that, and that means everything will also be moved because there is a new domain just for the club. How about that? Anyway, so let's dive into our platform that we want to, or that I have already integrated Maileroo with. Now, this is the very first platform that I was playing around with, and of course, checking out to see how I could integrate this, how it works, if it's any good, and so forth. And, well, I wouldn't be creating this video otherwise now, would I? Okay, so let's take a look then at this basic portal that I have created using the Scriptcase standard group generated security. Okay, so I haven't done anything else to it. All I've really done is just add really the alert system to it and notifications and so on. So we have here then one of the HTML template login pages that is available for the group security in Scriptcase. And you see, it's really nice, it is. And of course, if I log in here, if I can log in, that is because I just added this username, and now it's telling me it's not valid. So let me just see about that because, oh, and there of course is one of my alerts. So while I'm at it, why don't I just go and show you those very quickly. So logging in, I would have a notification like I just had this one because of course my original login, I created this weeks ago. I didn't write the login details down, and I would go ahead and just change it. We're going to recreate it in this video. Okay, so it sends out emails, and then I have a link also that I can go to the dashboard. And you see here I have a general notification where I had added a user. Okay, it's not really customized yet in this platform, but I started adding some code for that. So we can already start adding that in the new platform. Okay, so if I then also come here to the menu, for instance, and the other notification you saw there just now was when I come here to users, I had added the admin user and it's active. And of course I need to use the correct login details for that. So let me find that, that is here. And then we can actually go ahead and run that again, log in as we should be able to. Okay, so there's my admin username, my password, I sign in, and of course I then am able to access the platform. Now, previous to this, if I jump back to my email again, I have here, let me open this one, login failed for admin. It's the notification. Now we can add notifications in pretty much everything. So within my own platform, I have added notifications and alerts for when people fail to log in, when they successfully log in, when they sync applications, if they add or update something within the backend that of course typically maybe they shouldn't be able to, or I just need to be notified of it. So here in root I have the blank function test as well as the Maileroo test and the blank validate. So if I just open up each of these, we can just very quickly check them out. So I do have, of course, my API there, so I will have to hide that one. And of course, if that does happen to you, that Scriptcase just opens up another tab, just close the tab. It shouldn't happen. And then, of course, you should end up with your applications within your environment. And if that one, that failed, well, you may have to open it again. It's just a slight little bug there, I think. Okay, so if I come here to function test again, because that was the first one. And here I'm actually testing out the functions that I had created, or libraries, should I say, because I created a little library there. And I then just add here wherever I want to add a notification, portal notice, add the event, and email to, and then I have a separate one here for admin notifications. So we can either just send out notifications to users, to admins, to whatever we really like, because of course it's for transactional emails from our platform. So we can use that. Now we have here the blank validate also, and there I have my email details, my API key, which I will have to hide. So let's make sure I do hide that one. And then otherwise, I'm just using curl. Okay, so let's go ahead and close up this project, shall we? And we can actually maybe start by creating a new project. I will call this one Members Maileroo. Okay, because of course I will be placing this available for members, right? Yeah, let's place an icon there so we can identify it. So we have some nice icons here, and well, I don't really want any of those. Let's come here to my public, and let's see if I have something here for email that I can use. That looks nice. There we go. I think I used that one before. That'll do. I'll just go next. Attach my database. So I will use the same database again. And it's not going to let me yet because, and we are over there. Okay, so my login details entered. I can then access my database. I will then add it, test the connection, go next, and it's pretty much done already. There are more options there, but in the majority of cases you will not really need them. Now you may have noticed that Scriptcase has added 2 sexy looking new themes. I'm going to say sexy because I think they're sexy. I'm going to choose here the Soft Cloud SM. I don't think much, there's no point in using the larger one. You can increase the text today, right? Scroll and done. And so I'm just going to use the small one. It looks nicer. It's a bit cleaner than the standard one, I think. But you may like the standard one. If you like big fat buttons, then of course go down that route. Otherwise, you pick the small. Okay, so from here I can then go ahead and just start generating applications from all of those that I have here. Now, really, how far do we want to go on this? Not very far, right? So I think I'm just going to go ahead and create the same applications again. And transaction, I'll just leave it as trans test. Okay, and create. And with that, we have our test application. And I will go ahead and create another one. Okay. Blank. Validate test, because there is also the validation. And of course, I need to spell validate right, otherwise, Okay, so with those 2 applications created, takes a lot longer recently on my server for some reason. Okay, so we have 2 blank applications which we can use as tests. Now, essentially where we want to end up is with these 2 applications. We're going to set them up, and then also the security environment, and we are going to add the notifications to the Scriptcase group security, so that when we, for instance, update something there, it sends us a notification. Okay, so before we dive in, I think it's important that everybody understands what curl is all about, okay? Because curl is for making HTTP requests, okay? So with that, we can basically connect to a server, request something, and receive something, and process it, essentially, right? Because we're going to receive a response, and then we can do something with that response, okay? So curl is, in fact, a library, okay? It is also a command line tool, so you can use it in command as well, or in terminal, which is pretty awesome, right? So you can transfer data with URLs, and that's pretty much what we're going to do, okay? So curl is used to make requests to web servers, APIs, or any other online resource, just to be clear with that one. So with that, we can interact with the entire internet. So that is why Scriptcase is so powerful. It's so easy to do things in here. And at the same time, with the power of PHP, the world's your oyster. Let's just have a look at this. So to start a new session, we need to start off writing some code. So we need to initiate our curl instance. And we do that by ch equals our curl init. Both brackets, open and close the brackets, okay? So with that, we then start our session, all right? And then we also need to define what we want it to do, okay? Because just like this, we're just initiating it. It's like starting your car and then just leaving it running. You're not telling it what to do. You're not changing the gear. You're not putting the gas, none of that. Okay, so let's go then curl opt, okay, and URL. Okay, so there we go, curl opt URL. And with that, we can then basically fetch our URL. Okay, so with our curl initiated, we still need to tell it what to do. It's like leaving the car running, and it's, we haven't put in the gear yet. We haven't done anything else. So we need to set up our options, basically. We need to tell it what to do. Okay, so right now, we're just going to initiate it. And we need to tell it to go to a specific URL. And then we need to tell it to return that response as maybe a string, or we can output it if we want to. And then we can also define the method that we want to use. Now, in the majority of cases, you would use post, okay? So it would just be post. And then, of course, we have our header. Now, in our header, we can add extra security settings, tons of information. We can really lock our request down, you could say, okay? So that's very important to note. So typically you would create your curl session like so, okay? So we would set our options up, we define our URL here, we have our return transfer. We want to return, we set it true. We want to use post, again, we set that to true. We have here our fields, which we then define, which is then what would then be included within our query. We have then also the header, which we can then again apply specifications to, which really depends on the service you're using, may need to be adjusted. Okay, so that really depends. Okay, so there is of course much more to this, so let's just go ahead and maybe make a few adjustments here. So we have here our API data, and we have here also then our header, and I want to actually change that to this and remove here also the post fields. So within this one we have my name, an action, and a test, and then we have here the application JSON for our header, and that means we are using JSON for the transfer, and then here we are then processing that. So if there is no error, then we will decode the data, and we will then have a response and basically just output it, echo it, display it within our blank application. Okay, and then with that we can then have a look at how we can process that data and use it within our application. You know, that's pretty much the setup of that, but yeah, it's really not what we want today, is it? And of course, I'm sure half of you already know how to use curl anyway, so I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to come over here to our trans test because we want to really add the code that we're going to use into the correct applications, not have our quest entered into the validation, for instance. We need to first of all set up our applications here. So coming here to our transaction test page, we'll come back to the validate one in a moment. Like I said, we just don't want to add the incorrect code into the wrong application. Okay, so in this we want to Maileroo transactional email testing. Here we go. So here we need to add first of all our API data. So we need to set this up, and with that we need to define where our email comes from. We need to have our API key, which, well, let's add that in here, underscore API key, and of course it's commented out right now. Okay, and yeah, I'm just going to leave it commented out. But anyway, I'm adding it. So we have our email from field. We then need to define who and where our email from comes. So here I already have the email address for this, and I have to use this one because with Maileroo for the sample, it will give a sample email address to use. And then of course I need to define who my email to is. So here, email to, and here then I will say my email to then is to me. So help@ScriptcaseByJamie.com. Okay, so with that I now have my email from, I have my email to, and I also have my API key here. You can add your API key there. I'm not going to add it. You'll see why shortly, because I'm just going to add it directly into the header. Okay, so with that we then need to set up our email subject. So let's set up our email subject. Email subject equals then whatever your subject is going to be. So in this case, testing email. Yeah, that'll do. And then we have, with our subject, we then have, of course, the email body or the content or whatever you want to call it. Okay, with that, we can then add our content in it. So I will say this is a test email to see if this is working. So now that we've done that, we then, of course, set up our curl instance. Right, now with our curl instance, we then need to set our options. So you're going to see here, I have the options already all predefined. And for our options, I need to define the post fields, okay? So with that, typically, you may find that it's like this. And of course, when code is all compacted, it can be a little more confusing. So don't be afraid to, come in here and, after those commas, just press the enter key and split that up a little bit and make it a little bit easier for you to read, okay? Because it's going to continue, okay? The code will continue. There is no worries there. So you have here your from, your to, your subject, and your body. And you see, and I have those tied here to my variables up here. So that will then allow me to make adjustments to those on the fly whenever I want to. Now the API key, as you see, I have that here within my header. That's how the default is, and of course I had prepared this to add the API key in here. I should note, don't leave your API key in your code, okay? It's very important. Don't leave your API key in your code, not unless you maybe encrypt your code with, Source Guardian or something along those lines. That'd be very good. Okay, so once we've done that, we need to define what happens after our response. If our response happens, if there is an issue or not. We just want to know if there's really a problem here. So we're grabbing our response, and then we're saying if there's no curl error, then well, if there is a curl error, then we're going to echo the error and whatever it is. Now we then need to close our curl session, okay, our instance, which we initiated at the top here, and then we need to echo our response. And that will just give us a very simple, if I run that now, a very simple response to the email saying it's been sent, it worked, or it didn't work, or whatever the error message is that you're going to have. Because maybe you'll have an error message the first time you run this. I didn't, which is why I said it was probably one of the easiest APIs I've ever worked with. Okay, so with that running, there we have then success, true message, your email has been queued for delivery. So just within a few seconds now, the rest of them pretty much turned up really quickly. Okay, so with that added, we then have the success here. We can see that has been queued. It's great. So we can already start to take this and implement that and integrate that into our entire platform. And there's quite a few ways we can do that. Okay, so then within the blank validation test application, I'm just going to paste the entire code in here. And you can see I'm actually emailing to a completely different address here now, just one of my junk addresses, and have the API key actually configured here now. And of course, again, we are having our execution via curl. So I'm using curl again, and our response down here is also using the SC web service. Okay, so it's a combination here that I have going, and we have our response and we echo our response. So if I add an email address here, such as my junk email, and I now go run, we're going to see the message that it gives, and it says success, true, error code, message, data, email, bulk extension hotmail.co.uk, format valid, true, mx found, true, disposable, false, role, false. Okay, so that kind of goes on a little bit. And of course, all of the explanations can be found here within the Maileroo documentation. Okay, so for the email verification API, if we check through this, we'll see here the endpoint, we'll see example codes of how we can also set this up. You can download the code examples as well. And of course, it's where I got it from and how I started putting it together. So be sure to check out the documentation. You have that also here for the email sending, how to send emails via Scratch, how to set up the SMTP. And again, you have all of the responses, the body and everything here within the documentation. Now, as I said, yeah, it's the easiest one I've used so far because you can see why. It's pretty straightforward. There is not much to it. And for our notifications, of course, we then use a webhook, which I actually still have to do. So I will more than likely be setting that up in another video. But anyway, for now, we have our blank validation test together. We have also the transaction test together, and from here we want to then start integrating those into our main applications. So really, forget using Maileroo or any other API or whatever it is you want to use. You can use this as an example of how to integrate any other system, including Maileroo, into your Scriptcase project. And all you have to do is watch the next video, I'm afraid. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. And of course, if you are liking this video so far and you want to, help out a little bit, or just, think it's good or not, just let me know. Of course, maybe Maybe you want me to stop copy pasting. I could just code if I really have to. Okay, but why? We could speed things up so much more. Are you crazy? So as you will see over the next video or so, Maileroo really is a Scriptcase game changer for your Scriptcase projects. It's not a Scriptcase game changer, but it's a game changer for you that use Scriptcase, right? For emails, transactional emails, making those transactional emails much smoother than ever before. Of course, you see that just by checking out the API code. The interface is very cool as well. I would highly suggest just to check it out. And don't forget to use the Jamie free code, as well as the link down in the description, and you will then also benefit from the 3 months for free, which is awesome, right? Especially when you're starting to develop that platform of yours. You maybe want some time to create it, and 3 months with Scriptcase should really be plenty. So thank you very much for watching. Of course, don't forget to leave me a comment, a like, and I hope you have an awesome day, and I will catch you in the next video where we put this together inside of our project, which is, I'm sure, what you're really wanting to see. So until then.